Hi and welcome to the Brabazon course at the Belfry. This is the first hole. My name is Chris Ryan, and in this video we're going to look at 3 things which you might consider to be faults, but they actually might help you draw the golf ball if you struggle with a fade or a slice. Now, just before we do that, my social media accounts should be down in the corner of the screen at any time about now, I should say. So if you don't already, then please go ahead and follow me on those. So the draw, this is a shot which is desperately sought after by many golfers, and as I said at the start, there are 3 things that we're going to do in this video which I think many golfers would class as faults or things that you shouldn't do. But what you might find is actually if you slice the ball or your ball finishes too much to the right of the target, these 3 things might actually help you create a better path and then ultimately a better club face to path relationship, enabling you to hit the draw. So let's just go through quickly what those 3 things are, and then we're going to go through them in a little bit more detail and explain actually what they're going to do for you and why they might actually help you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at a fault, which would be the ball being too far back in the stance. So if I was to set myself here, I've got a 6-iron. And for many golfers out there, if they saw this setup where that ball is kind of 2/3 back, they might class this as a fault because the golf ball is too far back in my stance. There's our first fault. The second fault would be one where we start with the weight too much forward. So I've maybe got too much weight forward on my lead leg. And then through the swing, we don't move the weight onto this back leg. So this might be classed as maybe a reverse pivot for some golfers, but effectively we're starting with the weight too far forwards, and through the golf swing we're keeping it forwards. That would be the second fault. The third fault will be one where this trail leg starts to lose flex as we swing back to the point where it almost straightens. My leg isn't straight there, but it's very close to being straight. So having the ball too far back, golfers would often consider as a fault or something that's not quite right. Starting with the weight forward and keeping it forward, again, would be something which many golfers class as a fault. And then certainly straightening the back leg, again, golfers would maybe think this isn't quite right and it's something we want to try and guard against. I would suggest that if we do those 3 things, you might well hit a nice right to left draw ball flight. Let's go through why. So the golf club path is where the golf club is travelling as it hits the golf ball. That's going to be left, it's going to be straight, or it's going to be right. If we would like to hit that ball on a right to left ball flight, the club path needs to be to the right of the target. Without going into too much detail, the earlier in your arc you hit the golf ball, the more to the right your club path will be. So when we place that ball further back in our stance, we are effectively hitting the golf ball earlier in your swing. Therefore, your club path has got more chance of being out to the right. So there's our first fault which might help you. The second fault we said was when we're starting with our weight forward. Now, moving my body forward is effectively the same as moving the ball back. The relationship between me and the ball is changing. I'm moving ahead of the golf ball, which means that I again will hit that golf ball earlier in my swing. So I've got the ball back, making me hit it earlier, and I've got myself forward, making myself hit it earlier again. Those 2 things are going to make it very likely that your club path is going to be to the right of the target. We also said that we wanted to keep the weight forward. What this is going to do is it's going to ensure that we stay in front of the golf ball. When we're in front of the golf ball, as we've just said, we hit the ball earlier in the arc, there is more chance of the club path being out to the right. The third fault that we said was one where the back leg is straightening. Now, certainly for those golfers who draw the ball, there is a good chance that there isn't enough rotation, the arms are being picked up, and they haven't got enough depth in the golf swing. The grip of the club isn't moving in enough from where it started. If we can get golfers to focus on allowing the back leg to straighten, what that's going to do is it's going to allow the hips to rotate more, it's going to allow the shoulders to rotate more, and it's going to allow me to get the golf club and the grip a little bit more inwards from where it started. Couple that with the fact that the ball is back and my weight is forward, I've got a great recipe now to be able to deliver the club from a much more inside approach and have a golf club which is travelling out to the right of my target through impact. Those 3 things, I think, can help a lot of golfers move the club path to the right. Now, to hit a draw, we need the club face to be left of that path. Nothing we've gone through today is going to help the club face move left of the path. what I would like you to do is put those 3 things into your next practice session. Try and get the club path out to the right, and then just use a little bit of your own skill, your own sort of ability in the golfing game to just manipulate the club face so it's more left of the path, and then you'll start to get that ball moving a little bit right to left. I would initially try and do those 3 things, I should say, relatively extreme. If I get golf to do this in practice, I'll get the ball quite a long way back, I'll get the weight a long way forward, I'll get the right leg straightening, but they can very quickly move that ball on a right to left ball flight. We can then start to maybe soften up those things a little bit, don't do them quite as extreme, and we can maybe get that ball a little bit more controlled as opposed to a big slinging right to left. Right, let me go ahead and do these 3 faults, and let's see if we can hit that ball on a nice right to left ball flight. So I'm on the first hole here on the Brabazon. I've got about 180, I've got a 6 iron, a little bit into the breeze, so I might struggle to get there. So ball back, there's our first thing. Weight's going to go forward, there's my second thing. It's going to stay forward, and I'm going to straighten the back leg. Okay, and that ball definitely started out to the right. It definitely had some curve to the left, and my path would have definitely been somewhere to the right of the target, and that's absolutely key if you're desperately trying to hit that ball on a right to left ball flight. So faults are only faults if they make you worse. There are some things out there which you may consider to be faults which might actually help you achieve the things that you're trying to achieve. We might not necessarily want you to do this with every single shot to the extreme version we've just gone through here, but for someone who's hitting a left to right ball flight and a slice, seeing that ball move through the air on that opposite curve is something which is very, very nice to see, and it can often help you improve your game. Thanks for watching. Hopefully those 3 things are going to help you. If they do, please click the like button because that really does help me. And please comment below in the box if you've got anything you'd like to say about this video. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll do my best to respond to as many as I can. And last thing, if you don't do already, then please subscribe to my channel. There is a link in the description down below. It's absolutely free. There's loads more videos on my channel, and there's more being uploaded weekly. So clicking that link will just mean that you don't miss any of those contents. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you back here again soon.